came here for one reason, and that's to win.
Broncos country, let's ride for the next 7 years. Russell Wilson staying in Broncos country with a hefty contract extension. Negotiations are over. Denver Public Schools and the Teachers Union come to an agreement on a new contract.
I want to give DCTA a tremendous amount of credit because they conceded but also met us halfway as we did as well.
Plus, thousands of Coloradans locked out of their thermostats as Excel takes control of the temperature.
It just bothered us that, again, we just couldn't do anything about it.
And there's a new way to see what airline will give you the best deal if your flight gets delayed or canceled.
Yeah, my goal is to play 10 to 12 more years and hopefully win 3 to 4 more Super Bowls.
That was Russell Wilson back in March after he signed with the Broncos. And now he can do exactly that and do it in a Broncos uniform because he is here for the long haul. He and the Broncos agreed to a 5-year contract extension worth $245 million. Here's a quick breakdown of that contract. This ties him to the Broncos for the next 7 seasons. $165 million of that money is guaranteed, which is the second most in league history. He also gets a $50 million signing bonus and will be paid $77 million in the first 8 months of that deal. Now, Wilson himself posted this tweet this morning reacting to the contract extension, saying, "All the glory to Jesus, hashtag he is king." And the Broncos tweeted this video of Wilson with that caption, "Let's ride." Our Broncos insider Troy Rank, a busy man as you can imagine this morning. He is speaking to Broncos players right now before practice. We'll hear from Troy coming up in just a few minutes about Wilson's new contract. Practice is expected to then start in about 40 minutes. We will hear from Wilson after practice. And remember, you'll be able to watch Russell Wilson play in his first game as a Bronco right here on Denver 7. They open the season in Seattle on Monday Night Football on September 12th. Kickoff starts at 5, or coverage rather starts at 5. Kickoff right after 6 o'clock. The other big news we're following, Denver Public Schools and its teachers union have come to a new contract agreement, ending negotiations that lasted until around 8 a.m. this morning. Now, Denver 7's Jessica Crawford is here in studio to explain, Jessica, just what's in that deal.
Yeah, so we just recently got these details. The big topics here are teacher pay and how much time they'll get to prepare their students' curriculum. The deal provides returning teachers with an average annual salary increase of 8.7%. There will be a starting salary for DPS teachers of around $50,000 and an additional district investment of $2.5 million towards employee benefits. Plus, teachers will get paid for participating in various leadership committees. Denver teachers will also get a 45-minute duty-free lunch every day, plus at least 300 minutes of self-directed planning time each week for elementary educators and 345 minutes per week for teachers in secondary schools. This back and forth went on throughout the night.
Tired, relieved, and content with our agreement. I think that first year teacher starting at $50,000 is a very competitive rate in the Denver metro area.
Our teachers, if they don't feel safe, secure, supported, and valued, they will not be able to execute in terms of what they do well. And we proved that we mean what we say. Our actions are behind our articles and our proposals and the tentative agreement.
And of course, some people are wanting more, but some of the teachers seemed really happy with the agreement that they did come to. DPS will also create a committee to oversee improvements in the district and keep an eye on class sizes to make sure that they don't get out of hand. Plus, the district wants to improve racial and educational equity and recruit more educators of color. So they do plan to have a platform to start having some of those conversations.
And the most important thing, no strike, no work stoppage. Our Jessica Crawford reporting this morning. Thank you, Jessica. Denver's Police Chief Paul Pazin announced he's retiring and taking over starting next week, Patrol Division Chief Ron Thomas. Current Chief Pazin will step down next month. Thomas has also been nominated for the permanent position. The nomination would have to be approved by the Denver City Council. The U.S. is facing soaring costs for energy, causing 20 million Americans to be behind on their energy bills. Energy bills are up close to $100 this year compared to last year. The government says prices went up more than 1.5% in July, which is the third month in a row of increases greater than 1%. Now, there could be some relief. The Inflation Reduction Act has $9 billion in energy rebates and tax credits. Well, for some Excel customers in Colorado trying to keep their homes cool, they can't. It's because of something Excel called a rare energy emergency. This allowed Excel to take over tens of thousands of smart thermostats. Denver 7 consumer investigator Jacqueline Allen talked to one customer who's upset he can't control the temperature in his own home.
Another hot one today with temperatures in the low 90s.
Even Mike Nelson would tell you Tuesday was a hot one.
The heat goes on.
Which is why Tony Tallarico tried to crank up the AC.
I mean, it was 90 out, and it was right during the peak period.
That's when he found out he had no control of his thermostat. A message from Excel on his thermostat saying temperature locked during an energy emergency.
And normally, when we see a message like that, we're able to override it. In this case, we weren't. So our thermostat was locked in at 78 or 79.
Turns out he's not alone. Excel confirms to Contact Denver 7, 22,000 customers were locked out of their smart thermostats for hours on Tuesday.
It's a voluntary program. Let's remember that this is something that customers choose to be a part of based on the incentives.
Excel VP Emmett Romine says customers enrolled in the Colorado AC Rewards program sign up to get money back, but give up some control for the greater good.
So it helps everybody for people to participate in these programs. It is a bit uncomfortable for a short period of time, but it's very, very helpful.
And it's rare. This is the first time since the 6-year-old program started that customers could not override their smart thermostats. Excel says an unexpected outage in Pueblo, combined with hot weather and heavy AC use, led to the last-minute energy emergency.
To me, an emergency means there is, life, limb, or, some other danger out there, some, massive wildfires.
Tony's all about saving energy with solar panels and smart home systems, but he says he had no idea locked thermostats came with that, and it's not what he signed up for.
Even if it's a once in a blue moon situation, it just doesn't sit right with us to not be able to control our own thermostat in our house.
Jacqueline Allen, Denver 7.
Now, for the AC Rewards program, customers get a $100 credit for signing up and $25 every year. In exchange, Excel says customers should be aware they could lose control of their thermostats. To some breaking news we're following out of Weld County. The State Patrol is responding to someone barricaded after a truck and train crash. This happened on Highway 85 north of Nunn. The State Patrol hasn't released any more information. We, of course, will update you as soon as we learn more. Well, it's going to be a busy weekend for the upcoming Labor Day weekend, especially out there on the roads. AAA expects more people to head out of town as gas prices come on down. Taking a look at Colorado's gas prices right now, what we're averaging, well, $3.77 a gallon, which is down more than 60 cents in the past month. Not too bad. AAA says domestic bookings for car, air, cruise, hotel, and tours for Labor Day weekend are up 22% compared to last year. Experts say gas prices have fallen significantly from their summer peak, fueling demand for those end-of-summer road trips.
This is the lowest we've seen prices in many months. So with summer rapidly closing, it likely will mean more Americans will be hitting the road for Labor Day than we otherwise would have seen if prices remained high.
Anyone traveling over the holiday weekend should try to drive during off-peak times in order to avoid the most traffic, and fuel your tank when you spot cheap gas to avoid paying more at popular tourist spots. And be prepared for a whole lot of people out at DIA. The airport expects today, Friday, and Monday to be the busiest days. They do expect nearly 68,000 travelers today, and then close to 77,000 total tomorrow. Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser and more than 30 other attorneys general want Congress to address consumer complaints about the airline industry. Weiser says their offices are overwhelmed with complaints from travelers about airlines failing to give credits that they were entitled to for changing flights during the pandemic. They've also had calls about unreasonable delays or cancellations. The U.S. Department of Transportation says air travel service complaints are up 270% more than they were at pre-pandemic levels.
I've been focused on this issue with a basic question. How can we better protect consumers? And right now, the answer is we got to change the law so that state AGs can go after complaints, can get enforcement results that right now we literally just have to wait on the Department of Transportation.
Now, federal law requires airlines to provide refunds when they cancel or significantly change or delay flights. Well, this might help the problem. The Department of Transportation just launched a dashboard that lets people see what kind of guarantees, refunds, or compensation major airlines offer in case of delays or cancellations. The DOT says this is designed to allow travelers to favor airlines that offer the best compensations and influence other airlines to do the same thing. President Joe Biden will speak to the country tonight about democracy and how America's standing in the world is, according to the president, at stake. He will also talk about the progress he's made in protecting our core values. He'll make his remarks from Independence Hall in Philadelphia at 6 our time. You can watch it on thedenverchannel.com and Denver 7 Plus. A hearing happening right now between the Department of Justice and former President Donald Trump's legal team. A U.S. district judge in Florida will be considering whether to bring in a third party to review evidence that the FBI seized from the former president's home. Trump's legal team says the appointment is necessary. The DOJ says it's identified attorney-client privilege concerns, so they say a third party isn't actually needed. It's unclear how soon a judge could issue a decision. Well, Russell Wilson is staying in Broncos country, and still ahead, we're getting more details about his contract and what other players think of that deal. And a local Marine is giving back, using his business to support those serving our country.